What's up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Tale of the Tape. It's your boy Craig,
Mike Johnson,
and we're here for another day of MMA. But before we jump in, we have to give a huge congratulations to the Boston Bruins for winning Game 6, taking the series to 7. What do we think?
I was pretty scared.
Terrified.
Going into Game 6, you know, I didn't like backs against the wall like that.
Yeah.
And we had to win 2 in a row now, but you know, gotta take one game at a time.
Yeah.
We played incredible.
Incredible.
I mean, I don't think I've seen any better hockey like all year than that game between them two teams.
Yeah, no, it was pretty dynamic hockey. We really came together as a team, and we put it on them. You know, we put it on them pretty well, to the point where they didn't. I feel like they didn't even waste time pulling the goalie. I think they maybe did it at one point, but they didn't really waste time with that because they knew that they were going to Game 7, and now it's going to be an exciting game. Unfortunately for your boy, and also fortunately for your boy, I'm gonna be at Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
That's tonight. You know, today is Wednesday right now. You won't see the show till Friday, but Wu-Tang concert tonight. And
shout out to the Wu-Tang.
Oh, shout out to the Wu. Absolutely, Staten Island, baby. But I'll try to watch the game from my phone, so that way we can give you a little bit of an update on the final game.
I'll be watching every minute, so
Absolutely.
I'll let you know.
So, but you know, once again, it's great to see the Bruins in Game 7, going for the cup, and you know,
Boston.
In Boston, exactly.
Couldn't be better.
And I will be in Boston, so if it goes ham, your boy's gonna be right in the center of it all. So I'm looking forward to that. But with that being said, it's time for a little bit of MMA. And 2 things I gotta say about this. 1, what a stacked pay-per-view.
Oof.
And 2, it did not disappoint.
No, not at all. I don't think not one fight disappointed.
No.
There was no least of the night this week.
Yeah,
You know.
no least of the week. It was good. It was a really good event, and it kicked off with one hell of a brawl between a Boston boy, Calvin Kattar, versus a legend in Ricardo Lamas.
I always like to see Lamas fight. Unfortunately, he had a bad night.
He had an exceptionally bad night. He did not seem himself.
He was circling, couldn't get anything happening because, I mean, Kattar was way too long for him. He looked huge at featherweight.
Correct.
I mean, he's about 6 foot tall, incredible reach, and
Crisp.
His boxing was incredible.
Yeah, he did not waste a shot.
No.
It felt like he was working towards something the whole night, and it showed with his feints.
Oh yeah. I mean, it took him a minute to pick him apart, and that's really what he did.
Yeah, he did. It was basically a boxing clinic for that match, and it was amazing. The ending was awesome. I love that he was going for the feints, waited for Lamas to be in the position he wanted. Pat, pat.
Oh, absolutely. You know, his jab was a problem for Lamas the whole fight because of the length. So, you know, once you're biting on the jab and you've been hurt with it, a couple of feints on the jab and you'll react with your hands regardless, you know, to at least try to get your block ready. And, you know, he feinted twice through the right hand.
Yeah,
and,
the left hook.
The left hook around the side.
Right cross.
To finish him with the right hand, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the update, but I did. He actually broke his jaw.
Oof.
Ricardo Lamas has a broken jaw. So with that being said, I do hope him for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Now, my personal opinion is it might be time for Ricardo Lamas to hit Bellator.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I mean, he's got a string of losses now. You know, he's got a couple bad knockouts.
Yeah.
You know, he's had the unfortunate luck to draw against some big hitters, though, you know.
Yeah.
So for him to go out like that, I don't know. I think we'll see him maybe get one more in the UFC, try to get back. But
yeah, I mean, anybody can train themselves to a better level if they have the dedication
absolutely.
for it.
And he's always been that improving fighter every fight. So
And
I think it was.
I like Ricardo Lamas.
Bad matchup for him. I mean, he was the reach advantage was serious for Kattar, and he was looking to prove something too.
You know, another thing, you know, Ricardo Lamas might be a perfect fit for one of those things we was talking about, is the backup fighter.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Ricardo Lamas is a guy who is disciplined
Mm-hmm.
and hardworking. So, you know, you say, hey, listen, we want you on retainer.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't fight, maybe he gets $5,000.
Yeah.
If he does fight, he gets his normal payday.
Yeah, and he's always been a guy to step in on short notice.
Yeah.
You know, willing to fight whoever, whenever.
So I would definitely be interested in seeing if I think that there should be that category in MMA, like those guys that, you know, they do get regular fights here and there because they're fighters. At the end of the day, they don't want to be training for nothing all the time, because that can ruin your mental state for fighting. But I think that there should, you know, they get their regular fights, but they're also on call, you know, just on call fighters. You know, you get guaranteed money whether you fight or not, but if you fight, you make more.
Oh yeah, and you need to stay fresh. I mean, if you're always training, it's good to get a fight in here and there, you know, even if you're not on the contract. I think, you know, it's back when I was competing, it was, you know, different, but we would fight, you know, every month, you know, so it wasn't, you know, I think it felt fine, you know? If you're always in the swing.
Yeah, exactly. Your body becomes accustomed to that.
Absolutely.
And you probably heal faster off of those situations. You know, so, but all in all, I know, I think it was a quick, I think, what was it, a second round?
No, first round, end of the
knockout?
first round.
Yes.
4 minutes,
Yeah.
I believe, I
That's
thought
correct.
it was early, but no, it was about 4 minutes right before the end of the round.
So,
kinda.
a very good first round for a
Absolutely.
viewer, like from a viewer standpoint. I enjoyed watching the fight, and it was good to see this guy. He's coming up. I'd like to see who he's gonna fight next.
Absolutely, I think he matches up pretty good against anybody in the featherweight. I'd like to see more of what he could do. for
Absolutely.
sure.
So look out for Calvin Kattar in the future. The Boston boy is coming up the ranks, and he's not afraid to go up against anybody. He didn't want. I think he didn't want to call out specific names. He just wants to fight anybody between Ricardo Lamas and the championship belt.
Championship, yeah.
So
all he wanted to do in the post fight was give a shout out to his friend that he lost, and he sounded like, you know, a good old Boston boy. Honestly,
damn right. Yeah,
You
he
know,
did. So
I'm a fan now.
absolutely, this kid is going to be a guy to look out for and watch his fights. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. Next on the card was a fight that I was excited to see, and I feel like it did not disappoint, and that's Karolina
Kowalkiewicz.
Kowalkiewicz. There we go. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Alexa Grasso, and this was a war.
It really was. Kowalkiewicz just never stops.
Never.
I mean,
Forward motion all the time.
she couldn't seem to figure out Grasso, though. Grasso's movement was real nice. Her footwork was good. Kowalkiewicz was chasing her the whole time,
Oh yeah, completely on the attack.
but couldn't pinpoint her, couldn't find her at the end of the strikes. You know, she's too square and compact. She doesn't have a good rhythm, and Grasso knew that. And
Exactly. The thing is, I feel like Karolina, with her aggression and her willingness to take damage, like someone, like she needs a better boxing coach.
I think she needs better coaching in general, because her lack of improvement over so many.
She's the same fighter.
Over so many defeats is, you know, tough to see, because he can't put her away.
No,
like
tons of heart.
she never stopped. It doesn't matter how bad you're hurting her; she's still coming at you.
Yeah, and she's and you know, for a smaller weight class, you always expect a high level of endurance, but like she's coming at you the entire fight with the same level of aggression. I would really like to see her get a coach that can really tighten that boxing up.
Absolutely.
And get more, you know. She's just the fighter she is. She just punches and bunches.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, you know, she might throw 10 punches, but she's only landing 2.
It's just easy to time her. You know, she throws only straight down the middle. You know, and she throws with a high elbow style, and she's got a lack of head movement as well.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, she needs to get with a movement coach would be even more important, because I feel like her hips are stuck. You know, she has no bounce in her step, and she has no roll in her shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just straight down the middle, and her head is straight there too. It's just throw and get hit.
Yeah, she's kind of like a pawn, you know, or like a what is it though? the Rook? No, it's not the Rook, right? What's the castle?
The Rook.
The Rook. Oh, I was right. It was the Rook. You know, it's just straight motion, man. She comes right at you. She
Yeah.
throws straight. And she, you know what? She doesn't even go for like body shots or anything.
No.
Like there's no switching it up. If you protect your head, if you keep your head on a swivel, you know, you're going to avoid a lot of
Right.
damage from
Not much
Carolina.
in the kicking department
Yeah.
from her, because I think that's her hip base that is lacking. She can't, turn so much.
Yeah, I think it might be time for her to maybe move on to a different gym.
Yeah, absolutely. She
Yeah.
needs to switch her game up. I mean, her qualities that she has, her endurance, her fortitude, I mean, you can't teach that stuff.
No.
So for her to, to accrue some better skill set it would take her far. I think
Exactly.
she could reinvent herself, and she needs to.
And as for Alexa Grasso, clinic.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, she's the opposite of Carolina. She has great movement.
Oh, yeah.
Her strikes are not one-dimensional. She's swinging, she's head shots, body shots, and she's got good kicks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Grasso showed Kovacevic what she was lacking, and you could see the contrast of the way that they fight watching this fight. And she really made it stand out how square off Kovacevic was. Because it looked like she was prepared for that.
Yeah.
That she,
Well prepared,
that she
absolutely.
trained this whole training camp to fight against that. She came around the side every time. Punches were nice and wide, plenty of kicks, and hurt her everywhere. I mean, Kovacevic went home beat up.
Yeah, she did. And once again, I just got to say, the fact that as much damage as she took, I mean, hit after
It
hit.
never slowed her down.
Yeah, it never slowed her down. It never set her back.
No.
It was just it was an impressive performance from an ability to take damage and continue to try to inflict damage no matter how unsuccessful you were.
Right, and it never took it from her gas tank either, which tells so much, which shows you she was never really hurt.
Yeah.
Like, even though she was accruing damage, it didn't hurt. She's a machine.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like you can catch if you can catch her. I mean, she's been knocked out before, but you got to hit the button.
Yeah.
If you can't hit that button right on the spot, she's gonna keep coming. And in that case, you're against her. You always have the potential to be in danger.
Oh, yeah.
But if you are a disciplined fighter, she seems to be a pretty.
Yeah.
I want to say an easy fighter to beat at this point.
Because of that style. That it's telling when fighters are preparing for her. They know they're going to see the same thing that they saw last time, and that really showed with Grasso. But as you said, she's always a danger coming forward, and Grasso, you could tell, gave her that respect. Because she caught a few.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't come out of it unscathed.
Exactly. There were some moments that Kovacevic definitely had.
And they went for it at the end, like any two brawlers ever did in the octagon.
And I give it to Grasso for that. I mean, Grasso for that. Like, you're winning the fight.
Oh,
you
yeah.
do not need to stand tall in front of this girl.
No.
And she still did it. And to me, that's a fighter I want to see fight more often, because she's not afraid to get hurt. She's not afraid to stand in the center octagon. She's like a female Max Holloway.
Yeah, she wants to make it clear that I won this fight.
Yep.
And that's what she did tonight. It was a very good fight.
So what I would ask you is, once again, same question: is it time for Kovacevic to hit Bellator?
I think that maybe possibly because
Strawweight's a thick division. There's a lot of fighters there
it
right
really
now.
is, and she's tried against quite a few ladies now. She's got a couple losses piling up, and
I feel like she's made her way down the rankings.
I think it might benefit her to go to a different promotion.
Yeah.
Like we said, switch her gym, reinvent herself completely, and start from the bottom of the pile and work your way back up. Go for a title run in a different promotion, and then try.
Because a title is a title, right?
Oh, absolutely.
A title is a title. So I would like to see how she would fare, like we said, with not only with a different team, coaching team,
Absolutely.
but also a different fighting promotion to give herself, because I want to see a fighter like Kovacevic win.
Oh yeah.
I really like her as a fighter. So I'd like to see her get wins, and I don't think she's going to get any more in the UFC.
Yeah, coming from a fan standpoint, you know, she's easy to back. Like, she's easy to like. You know, great person. And, yeah, it's tough to see her lose so much, and I would like to see her do better. So I think she should go reinvent herself. You know?
Awesome. All right, next on the fight card, a very good fight. My personal favorite, Aljamain Sterling, going up against Pedro Munhoz, and this fight was pretty cool to watch. What did you think?
I can't say enough about Aljamain Sterling. I think this showed how far his defense has come along. Munhoz couldn't do nothing. It's unanimous decision, so you tend to think that, you know, not much happened, but Aljamain with complete domination.
Complete domination. It was as if he knew everything that Pedro was capable of, and he avoided damage while inflicting like hits all day long. I felt like he put on a clinic. There was a couple moments where it looked like, you know, Pedro was about to put him into danger, and he may have taken a shot or two, but then he got out of the way and then got back into position and just started raining down on on Pedro. Aljamain Sterling might have looked the best I've seen him look in a little bit.
4 wins in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, these last 2 decision wins are just showing his patience, his great striking that comes from whatever angle. You can't pinpoint anything that he's gonna do.
Oh yeah,
you know,
it's
he's
always
so
a surprise. Yeah, man, I love watching this guy fight. One of the reasons why I've always liked Aljamain since the moment he entered to the UFC. One of the things that, you know, kind of made me like him a little bit more, being a Bones Jones fan, is that they wrestled together in college, and Bones was him seeing Bones being successful in UFC is what converted him into joining MMA, and what a good decision.
I think you see a little emulation of style too, a
Yeah.
bit. You know, maybe not the same techniques, but you know,
But the
that
unorthodox, yeah.
fighting with the wrestling base. You know what I mean? They both use that.
And they both love to throw those elbows, man.
Oh yeah, from different angles. They love that spinning elbow.
Yeah.
You know.
And it felt like Aljamain just could not miss.
He didn't. I would love to see the numbers on the punch count, because I don't think there was many misses from him at all. I'd like to see, you know, more combinations put together from him, and we'd probably see a lot more finishes. He seemed stronger than he has before. Munoz really could not get inside,
and he's not a slouch.
No, we're talking about number 4 ranked fighter in the bantamweight division.
And the guy who put away Uriah Faber. Granted, not at the top of his career, but Uriah Faber, even not at the top of his career, is a dangerous fighter.
And he's been sleeping guys with big power.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even land a punch unless Aljamain allowed him to, pretty much. And those were times where, you know, you seen him yelling at him and telling him to engage him. You know, he wanted to get in the fight.
Yeah, he wanted to put on a show. You know, Aljamain is definitely one of those highlight fighters who doesn't just want to win. He does want to put on a show for the crowd.
It almost seemed like he was mad that Munoz wasn't testing him harder, that it wasn't a harder fight for him. You know, I agree. I think he was prepared for Munoz to be better, and he was just outclassed by Sterling.
I agree. I think Aljamain Sterling, with this fight, it has put him on a direct route. Maybe not instant title, but on the road to a title shot.
I can maybe think of, you know, 1 or 2 people he might have to fight, you know, but I see 1 fight and then a title shot. Like, I mean, but you can make that argument that he deserves a title shot right now.
You could make that argument. I think that there's 1 of 2 guys he needs to fight. I think we're going to talk about those guys later on. So we'll get to that pairing up when we come to it. But Aljamain Sterling is proving that he is definitely on the road to championship contention, barring a loss in whatever fight comes next. But if he can continue this reign, it's nothing but clear blue skies for this guy. And I think when it comes to the title shot, I think he might have a little bit of an advantage. In my opinion.
He's one of the, I mean, if not the biggest, strongest bantamweight that I can see now. And with these, big time decision wins, you see that he has no problem with endurance, even though he's that size.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to beat that.
Yeah, he did not lose any gas, and
with all the skills that he's bringing to the table, that's hard to beat.
So, I look forward to seeing the future fights of this gentleman right here, and I still want to see Pedro. I mean, I feel like he might have been a little bit outclassed in this fight, but he's definitely a guy who I think can put on a show against a fighter. Maybe he needs time to develop his skills to get to the higher ranked guys.
The only thing that I didn't like, he didn't take a ton of damage, Munoz. I mean, what I didn't like is he couldn't seem to adjust his game to try to close the distance. I mean, he didn't try to engage the grappling to switch it up or anything. I mean, he was okay with staying at the end of Aljamain's strikes and getting beat up.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter. I think you still have to do it, but maybe he just knew in the grappling exchanges that he would lose.
I mean, you gotta try something different when you're losing. Though.
When you're losing, you gotta go for everything. So, like I said, it probably doesn't matter that he did that's what he believed. At the end of the day, you gotta do whatever you can do to win.
He couldn't do anything to close the distance on the feet, but it's not like he was trying anything different from round to round. He was just, coming in tight and trying to throw big shots, and wasted a lot of energy missing.
A lot of energy. So, well, we'll see what happens in the future, but in this particular instance, Aljamain Sterling is going to be the guy to watch out for, winning it with a decision, like you said, unanimously. So Aljamain definitely has a big-time fight coming up in the near future, especially where not taking little to no damage. You're gonna see him maybe not the next pay-per-view, but the one after that, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Next fight, another one of my favorites, but an awesome fight altogether, is Tatiana Suarez going up against Nina Ansaroff. Oh, look at that, I got it. Nina Ansaroff. This fight was unexpected, and it was awesome. I think we learned a lot.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we learned a lot in this particular fight. Tatiana Suarez, considered to be one of the best, if not the best, female wrestlers in the strawweight division, and 2 rounds of just relentless pressure with a lack of success.
Absolutely. We learned who Nina Ansaroff was, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
If
you didn't know who she was, you knew who she was after the pay-per-view.
We knew that Suarez would be able to take her down at will.
Yep.
I mean, that's about anybody in the strawweight division. She couldn't do nothing down there, though.
Not a single thing.
She couldn't mount any offense, Ansaroff's defense was fantastic, full guard every time, back to her feet, but she just got taken down over and over. I think that Ansaroff didn't realize the striking advantage she had until late in the 3rd round, when it was too late.
Now, I don't know. I will say this. She did have an overwhelming striking advantage in the 3rd round. It was the 3rd round, and Tatiana had put in a ton of work.
Absolutely.
I will also say so didn't Ansaroff. She put in just as much, if not more, fighting her off.
Her off for 15 minutes.
Yeah, so at the very least, Ansaroff's stamina is well above Tatiana's, and Tatiana's stamina is not as great as she would need it to be to get through a championship fight.
No, not at all. And I don't think that her striking was the level of the top level of the strawweight division for the women.
Oh, honestly. I don't even think she's in a top 10 striking level.
It's a work in progress. You see her trying to move, trying to find the Muay Thai stance, but Ansaroff really started to put it on her. If that fight went another half a round, I think Suarez might have been asleep.
Yeah, if this would have been a main event of a fight night, and they were going 5 rounds, I can almost guarantee Tatiana Suarez loses by TKO or decision. one way or the other. But I am so impressed with Nina Ansaroff. I mean, Tatiana Suarez, in every fight I've ever seen her fight, she brings a person down, works her way into a mount, submission, ground and pound, whatever the case may be. And that and her defense was so like, but it also makes me think were the people Tatiana Suarez fought did they just not have good defense? Or is she just that good and Ansaroff is just that much better? Yeah, that's a question I want to have answered at some point.
Absolutely. You can, as a good wrestler, it's easy to blow by somebody who's got, lower level jiu-jitsu and, rain down punches. But a high level jiu-jitsu person won't be able to stop that takedown regardless.
Yeah.
But you're not going to pound them like that on the ground.
No.
Ansaroff established full guard every single time.
Yeah.
I don't even remember Suarez passing it. I mean, it was just a struggle.
She never passed her guard. There was moments where she would get into like a half guard, but I mean before she can even let off any offense, Ansaroff's got her back in full guard, or she's getting back up. And we all know if you are a fan of MMA, you know how much energy it takes to get up to your feet.
And she did it over and over.
Yeah, and a high-level wrestler like Tatiana Suarez is not letting you get back to your feet.
No.
And the fact that she was able to get back to her feet over and over again, that blew my mind. I thought we were going to see absolute domination, and I assumed maybe even a first-round victory, and the fact that it went to decision was very impressive.
Right, we ended up seeing a pretty fairly even fight. It might even, I don't remember if it was split or not, but
I believe it was a clear-cut decision because Tatiana won 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Ansaroff definitely took the second, and I mean she put a whooping on Tatiana Suarez. Like the way she beat Tatiana in the 3rd round, in my opinion, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be yours too, was better than what Tatiana did in the first 2 rounds.
I agree, because it was just takedowns, and no real damage landed, and all that damage was done in 4 minutes?
Exactly,
something like that.
Yeah, because she definitely was in desperation mode in the 3rd round, trying to take her down, and could not manage it.
You could tell the first takedown that Ansaroff stuffed that was it.
Yeah,
and you could tell that her confidence built, and I just wish it happened for her earlier.
Yeah, me too.
But that could be telling.
You know what? I don't wish it happened earlier.
Could have been running out of gas there.
Yeah, I don't wish it happened earlier. I wished it was a 5-round fight because we would have had a different decision. Now, and this is coming from a person who loves Tatiana Suarez, who thinks that she's an incredible fighter, and I always want to see her win. And I can't wait to see who she fights next. But I think right now, in Tatiana's mind, what needs to be happening is 2 things. 1, I need to work on my endurance.
Absolutely.
And 2, I'm already incredible at wrestling. I need to develop my striking.
Absolutely.
Her striking in this particular match, especially her striking defense, was weak.
Yeah, I believe she's definitely not ready to be up, around the title contention level. I think, women's strawweight, if she faces off Grasso, it could be a bad night for Suarez with that likes of that striking, Alexa.
You know what? Maybe that's the
matchup there.
Maybe that's the matchup. Tatiana Suarez versus Alexa Grasso in the next fight night. I think I would love to see that fight. And whoever wins, I think they just need to work their way up. I think too many times people jump up right to title contention. But
absolutely.
Alexa Grasso, Michelle Waterson, these are Claudia Gadelha. These are people I think you need to get through to prove that you're ready to see.
I think
any of these champs.
I like how you said that. You got to be tested before you can get up to the belt. I think these fighters got to be tested in all aspects of their game. You got to fight a good grappler. You got to fight a good striker. You got to see every type of matchup, to see what they're going to be able to handle.
Yep.
You know.
Could you imagine Tatiana Suarez going up against Jessica Andrade after seeing that fight?
No.
Because Jessica Andrade, she has wrestling.
Yeah, she wouldn't be taken down that easy.
No.
It would be much harder. So, Suarez, might end up guessing first or second round earlier than that.
And I think she would have a hard time even shooting on
She
her.
would have got a big bomb put on her chin way before that.
Especially one of the things I never like seeing this with boxers, and I know she had success with it in the first round when they shoot, they don't get the immediate takedown, but they're on their knees. You get Jessica Andrade in that position or Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and they're gonna break your face open right there, just punches and bunches right on your dome, and it would be an early night for Tatiana Suarez. So she definitely needs to work on. I think she's so confident in her wrestling that she's not giving enough attention.
She needs to
the
learn
rest
how
of
to
the game.
use that wrestling, in mixed martial arts. She needs to establish better dominant top position, and she needs to learn how to strike better from the top.
Yeah.
If she wants to rely on that,
Well, we'll see what happens in the future. I've been saying what fighter to watch out for, but I think both these fighters are so good that we need to just keep paying attention to both of them.
Oh, yeah.
But I still love Tatiana Suarez, and I would like to see her work her way through the division to gain a possible title contention. But Nina Ansaroff is no slouch, and I look forward to seeing her next fight as well. And then next, on to a big boy fight. You're going to have to say both these dudes' names.
Tai Tuivasa and Blagoy Ivanov.
Yep, there you go.
Ivanov.
Heavyweight bout.
Oof.
And this one, like we said it would be, was just an absolute slugfest. It was beautiful to watch. If you're the fan who just wants to watch UFC to see two dudes beat the bag out of each other, this was the fight that you watched for.
Yeah, 15 minutes for these big guys to fight like that was pretty extreme. I couldn't believe the pace they had going.
Yeah, they were just going at it.
Good striking from both of them. Tuivasa was faster but looked inaccurate. So.
And the one thing I say,
And Blagoy had that left hand over and over and over.
and I got to give it to Ty in his chin strength, because boy got rocked over and over and over again. And you saw it. He was absolutely rocked and recovered fast.
There was no answer for it
No.
either. Every time he just kept throwing it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no hiding it or nothing. He just kept trying to throw that left hand.
I think we were both surprised at the way this went, and we both thought Ty was going to dominate this fight, and I didn't think Blagoy had this in him, but to take home the decision victory over Tuivasa was pretty.
I was just
awesome.
impressed that it went to a decision in general.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't, and neither man was, was that gassed out in the third round. They were still throwing hard in the third round.
They conserved their
Couple
energy.
grappling exchanges, and I mean, I was surprised by both of their cardio for the size that they are. Tuivasa was inaccurate.
Yeah, he was extremely inaccurate.
Kind of wild with his punches.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what was up there. I can't remember the last time I seen him fight. I know I've seen him fight at least once or twice before, but I don't remember him being as sloppy as he was in this particular fight.
No, I remember him being crisper for sure, but
Highlight reels I seen, he looked way crisper. Maybe the fighting style of Blagoy is what was not allowing him to be more accurate with his strikes. Maybe they were throws of desperation.
yeah, kind of, especially after he was hurt, but he had no answer. His defense confused me too. He had no answer for that left hand, and it was more of a jab than anything. And he just couldn't see it coming straight up.
Maybe
up
his
to
chin is his
chin.
blocking style.
It didn't seem to bother him.
No, it didn't.
To get hit. So
And even when he did get rocked, he recovered quite quickly. So these are two guys, man. I look forward to seeing them fight whoever they're going to fight next, because they can take damage, they can give damage, and they have the gas tanks to get through 3-round bouts. I don't know about 5, but absolutely 3-round bouts.
that's impressive for any heavyweight, to be that weight and to be able to fight 15 minutes with intensity, to take damage and keep going. Yeah, both of them definitely are going to stay around for a while.
Yeah. And, Blagoy being the victor, heavyweight division is, I feel like it's a weird division. There's a lot of guys in it, but not a lot that fight in the ranked division. So, for argument's sake, I think I want to see him go up against my boy.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis, the Black Beast.
It's the first name that kind of came to my mind, too, because, Blagoy seems, veteran guy, kind of. He seems older. No nonsense.
Yeah.
He's the opposite personality.
Yes.
And he's in there to grind on you and do whatever he's got to.
And he's willing to trade blows, and that's what Derek Lewis likes.
He seems super strong.
Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
when he gets his hands on you. So that'll be interesting in the grappling exchange. And that'll be a good fight.
That would be a really good fight. So maybe we'll see it in the future. Blagoy versus Derek Lewis. That's our hope for a future fight. And seeing as how he hadn't taken a lot of damage, and Derek Lewis is due a fight soon, being the exciting fighter that he is, who doesn't take much damage as well, that would be a nice little fight. I think Ty needs to go back to their drawing board, maybe fight maybe a lower ranked guy. Who he should fight, I'm not really sure. I'd like to see him fight. I can't think of his name. I believe he's like a Russian. He has dark hair, mustache, goatee thing. I can't think of his name.
I don't know. The heavyweight division is a weird division.
It is a
right
weird
now
division
to remember.
Any fighter.
Honestly.
You would know who, if I showed you him, you would know exactly who he was, though.
But yeah, I think Tuivasa kind of, honestly, to see him last that long was kind of impressive because he seemed pretty out of shape.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both big boys, obviously, but Blagoy, he looked the more solid.
Yeah. He actually looked solid, where Ty looked extremely flabby.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how fighters look that way.
And I don't know how he could continue throwing punches that late in the fight if he would, with the way he came in.
And you would think, like, you have to have good cardio, and you would think cardio translates into weight loss?
Well, not on some giants like that, but, also it's a lot of what they eat. He wants to just eat protein, probably,
Okay.
But also, like, his body style might not support that kind of fat loss unless he tries real hard, which would not be good for a fighter, but you would think that they would at least get some tone.
Yeah, some tone. Like, I felt like it was zero tone.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, if you saw this guy on the street, like, you might believe he could, like, kick your ass because of his size, but, like, you're not believing that he's, like, if a guy his size goes up against him, he's in trouble. But no, he's not.
And every time I used to see that with, like, heavyweights, it would make me think that, plenty of natural talent, so that they're like, I don't have to work hard.
Yeah. And that's probably really what it is. Just so much natural talent that conditioning is not a problem.
But they don't realize how far that conditioning would probably take them.
Yeah, maybe make them that much better. I mean, even Alex, what's his name, Ruiz. He's a lot more solid than Ty is, but he's still a chubby dude, and he knocked out one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, natural talent, that's hard to beat, but hard work plus natural talent will always beat that. Hard work by itself could beat natural talent.
Exactly.
So, gotta do the work.
We'll see what happens. All right, next fight. Also a really good fight. Even though it went to decision, this was a really good fight, and I think it was performed a lot better than it would have been expected on both sides. Jimmy Rivera versus Pelter. Even though it's spelled P-E-T-R, there's obviously an invisible L and an invisible A. Pelter Jan wins the fight by decision, and this was a battle.
Yeah, I think it's closer than it seems on the scorecard. You know, I think Jan got the close decision win. But I
honestly thought it should have been a split.
I really think that Rivera fought well. I think it was the knockdowns.
Yeah.
You know,
at the end of the first 2 rounds.
that got Jan the more points on the scorecard, because Rivera I thought was for a while the more pressuring fighter. He moved really great.
He was more aggressive. He controlled the octagon, 2 of the big things, and he landed a lot of strikes.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just weren't damaging.
Yeah.
I mean, even I watched the press conference and Jan's face was like, looked like
unfazed.
Looked like it wasn't touched at all.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And that's a big thing, you know. I know that they do put a lot of stock into, you know, what is
Damage.
it? The damage and the effective striking. So I mean, yeah, he was probably a little bit less effective, but I was impressed with Jimmy Rivera's performance.
Yeah, I think, you know, Jan was kind of one-dimensional with the punches, but that's the only dimension he really needed.
Yeah.
Rivera was the more diverse fighter for sure. I thought he kept it close, you know, but they put a lot of stock in the knockdowns as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that they call that, you know, close to a finish.
Yeah.
So,
But
I think that's what really
I did
lost
think
it.
that in the first 2 rounds, I felt as if Jimmy Rivera had landed more. I'd like to see the strike count on that one, because I thought he landed more punches than Jan. But maybe, you know, a lot of times we get what gets lost is just, you know, a fighter might throw 5 punches but only land 2, and even if you're a good observer of a fight, you might have thought a 3rd or a 4th landed, even though it was only 2 out of the 5. That's something it's something very difficult to pick out when watching fights like that.
Or a grazing strike.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really call that as effective as a solid landing strike. But yeah, say you got a 4-punch combination and you see 2 of them land in a row solid. You know, it's easy to, in the 3rd and 4th, grazing hits, it's easy in the speed of a combination to say, you know, oh, that's 4 solid strikes right there, you know?
Yeah, you know, and with that being said, I also have to say, man, being a judge must be a difficult job.
It has to be horrible, and I don't understand some of the people they pick, honestly. You know, I think a lot of old cats from MMA needed to get into it.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Old fighters, you know, retired Hall of
Guys who
Famers.
know it.
Yeah, because nobody could judge it better than them. I mean, it's kind of sad some of the times when you see these bad decisions and then you look at who the judges are and it's, you know, like
a house mom and a office clerk.
And they've never competed in any martial arts, you know, or anything like that.
Yep.
It's pretty strange.
All they did was sit in a class, watch videos on fights, and taught how to see things. I never thought about that, but I think that is an amazing idea and I think it would actually bring some notoriety to the fight. Like, you have, the judges this week are Chuck Liddell, Tito
Randy
Ortiz,
Chael
Sonnen.
What if we had a fight, you know, because there's 3 judges.
Yeah.
What if we had a fight with Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, and Tito Ortiz, like 3 old rivals? You know what I mean? They all used to hate each other.
And now they got to judge a fight together.
Got different opinions. So, you know, like
that would. I feel like that would be awesome.
They would all call it fair for the fighters.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Because nobody wants to steal a fight from a fighter to settle a grudge.
I think they would do a good job, especially if you pick the smart ones who obviously.
You can't just pick guys who are just straight brawl. You got to pick guys who are smart and articulate, and guys who just know fighting inside and out. That right there, my friend, I think is an absolute gem of an idea.
Right, absolutely.
And with this fight, I also want to say I think that this is the matchup.
I believe so too, for Aljamain.
Aljamain and Petr Yan. I think these guys fight, and the winner of that fights the next guy.
I think so too. Also, there could be another contender in the mix there, for, right at the top. But
that's what I mean. That other guy.
That is definitely, a fight I would love to see.
And these 2 guys, their striking techniques will match up really well against each other.
Absolutely. Jan is, another patient, plodding guy that he fought like that, this past week. And Aljamain, same thing. I mean, it could be kind of boring. It
might be boring, or it might be an absolute battle.
Right. It could be like just a masterful defensive fight. From each guy.
Kind of like Wonder Boy versus.
I would love to see it. No,
Woodley.
it would be plenty more action.
I think it would be
than
a
that.
lot more action than that,
You know.
but very, very much a chess match.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see how that turns out, because that would be an excellent.
That would be a fantastic fight to
Yeah.
watch. I didn't know much about Pelter Jan, but I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Good fighter.
Well, this next fight had everything you want and then a little bit of what you don't want. It had a great first round, a second round to rival the first, and then a third round to put that bad salty taste in your mouth that you didn't want. Tony Ferguson versus Donald Cerrone, an incredible matchup, a perfect pairing, a match made in heaven, if you will.
Absolutely.
This fight gave you everything you could have asked for except for a shitty ending.
Oh.
It was like a great TV series where it just turned off at the end. This was awesome.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So Donald Cerrone just comes in the beginning and he puts in work. He comes in like the fighter you hoped he would, ready to fight.
I truly believe that, Cerrone put in great work in that first round. He was doing fantastic.
And I think he gave it everything he had in that first round.
He had that long jab working. He had that step in 2-3 combination that I love. And that left hand was landing. He had Ferguson cut over the eye.
Yep.
After a couple of them lefts. But second round it changed. I mean,
big change.
I gotta give technique of the week this week to Tony Ferguson, and it's not a specific technique per se, but the ability to change your game plan mid-fight and find what works against an opponent who's beating you, because he was getting worked.
He was getting worked.
Perhaps not terribly, but he was getting worked, and he changed completely. He thought he would fight Cerrone in a straight-up kickboxing match in the first round. It didn't work. And in the second round, he came out and tried 4, 5, 6 different tactics, all trying to change up everything, and Cerrone was completely confused.
Yeah.
And then at that point, Ferguson could do whatever he wanted, and everything was landing.
Everything. It was a night and day fight. That's why I was so excited for this fight, and that's why it did not let us down. Like I said, because Donald Cerrone, with his domination in the first round, Tony Ferguson, like you said, the ability to adjust and make the moves to allow him to take over this fight in the second round and literally put so much damage on Donald Cerrone that it affected the third round.
Yeah, he absolutely in the second round put it on Donald twice as much as Donald put it on him in the first. His right eye, Cerrone, was messed up good, and his nose was bleeding good.
Yeah.
He might have had a broken nose too. He's definitely got a broken orbital, the doctor report said after, but after in between,
not a broken orbital. No, I got the ESPN. They said it's officially not a broken orbital.
No?
That's the message I got on ESPN earlier
I thought
today.
I read it earlier that it was a fracture in the
We'll
orbital.
double check on that for you, and if it was a broken orbital, we'll let you know. But if I'm right, we won't have to tell you anything. So,
But in between rounds, the second round to the third round, the doctor comes out to check the eye, and Cerrone was trying to clear his nose of the blood.
lesson learned.
Yeah.
Do not blow your nose if it's swollen.
If your eye especially is swollen up and your nose is damaged, your sinus is all linked up. So as soon as he blew to try to clear the blood out of his nose, it shot air back through his sinus under the swelling of the mass of blood that was already in his eye and closed it up. And when you see him digging at it in between the rounds there, he's just trying to push the air down, trying to get back to the fight.
Unsuccessful.
The doctor came out and said, you know, you're crazy, you can't fight. And Donald said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, he was ready to go. He would have continued.
And that just shows you how much of a warrior he is, man. Like, he can only see out of one eye. That makes you he's already susceptible to the punches, and now you're even more susceptible on your right side. That was definitely a warrior's mentality.
A big thing people are talking about too is the late action after the whistle of the second round.
Yeah. That was
looked as
wildly
if-
inappropriate.
It looked as if, you know, in Ferguson stated after the fact that he's upset about that. In the heat of the moment, you might not hear the bell as quickly as you think. It's hard to stop yourself.
And when you're in the mode of throwing combos,
they were already in the combination.
He
for
wanted
sure.
to finish, and even though it makes me mad that he landed that punch, I get it.
Yeah.
I do get it. As a human being, I get it.
Right.
But
It looked
as a
as if-
professional,
To be honest, while they're engaging in the combination, it looked as if Cerrone's punch lands right at the buzzer, and then
He wanted to
Ferguson
return
counters
fire.
after.
Yeah.
But they're kind of in the middle of the combination.
yeah.
It's hard. It's
Very hard.
It was late though, and he has apologized about it. He's a classic guy.
Yeah.
He hates.
That's what I
to
give
win
him.
that way, but they
Yeah.
call it a TKO.
I hate. I feel like there's got to
does-
be
it-
a new option.
They do have it marked TKO doctor stoppage. Which,
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
When it happens like that, they call it doctor stoppage. But it's still a TKO.
Yeah.
It's still
So-
a finish. You finished your opponent.
Yeah.
And he couldn't continue.
All right. Well,
It's sad for Donald because I think he was on such a great run,
yeah.
and he had.
I don't think this is. I feel like this doesn't end his run. I feel like he gets a chance to come back. It may go down as a loss, but he didn't technically get beat. He just lost to a stoppage. So I think he gets to move on.
Right. I mean,
and come back.
it was definitely 1 round to 1 round. So it was anybody's game in the third.
Yeah.
So
So I think either a rematch or we just give Donald Cerrone another great matchup to further his run.
Ferguson is completely willing to give Cowboy a rematch. He said he doesn't want to go back in the octagon unless it's either against Cowboy or for the belt.
There you go.
And I believe he absolutely deserves a fight for that belt.
I do. There's no doubt in my mind after watching this fight, Tony Ferguson deserves a shot at the belt.
He's on the
already
longest
had it at
active
one point.
win streak out of any UFC fighter.
Yeah.
He already held the interim title.
Yeah.
Couldn't fight Khabib because of his own injury. Then Khabib couldn't fight him because of his injury.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a dance back and forth. Also in Ferguson's statement, he said if he couldn't, fight Cowboy again or for the title, he'll take Conor McGregor too if he wants it.
Oh wow, that's an interesting matchup.
Just because he's a top guy
contender
at lightweight who he didn't beat.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens there. We'll watch out for future news on that. But the next fight, a very exciting and satisfying victory. Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Ai. This was an awesome fight. But what was the most awesome was I'm just going to be straight up. The ridiculousness of Jessica Ai's walk down
Absolutely.
into the ring.
Her overall overconfidence.
Yeah, her overconfidence and smothered in swagger. And when I say smothered, you don't want to be smothered. She was smothered in swagger, and it was way too much, especially for the way that this fight ended. She needs to bring that down a level. Maybe this will humble her, and her ring walk will be a little bit less ridiculous.
Brutal head kick knockout.
Oh man,
from
it was
Shevchenko.
shin. Like it wasn't most fighters they get kicked with the palm. I mean the back of the foot. She got hit with the shin.
It was absolutely terrible. I mean, she was on the mat for minutes. Minutes after her post-fight speech was even done. She couldn't do much of anything.
No.
I don't see why she was even matched up against Shevchenko.
I feel like it's just because that weight class
They just
is
needed a
so
contender.
slim. And here's the thing. I was actually surprised when you said it earlier. I like how you chose to go with it. It was a direction I didn't realize, but I almost thought that this was going to be technique of the week because I love what Valentina Shevchenko did. Continuous kicks to the body, hard kicks over and over and over, and then she waited for the right reaction. She goes for the kick. Jessica goes to block low. Head kick comes high.
Absolutely.
Clean knockout.
I thought about it because it was a favorite of a tactic of mine. Honestly, like it's only something you can catch somebody with
Who's unexperienced?
who's a little. I don't want to say so inexperienced, but not able to take the damage from kicks.
Oh, I
when
got
you got
you.
somebody biting on your kicks because they're hurt you know, that's when they'll bring the arms down for the block, and they usually move their head down too with it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
you know?
that was brutal. You know,
Yeah.
I told you, I said before, I do lift, and I always, you know, conversations always come up, and people always like, I ask if they watch UFC, and anytime someone says no, it's always because like, oh, it's too brutal for me, and I'm like, it's the ultimate test.
Yeah.
Like to test yourself against another person in a locked cage, and.
For those people, this would be too tough to see.
Yeah, this would be
That was a
way too
brutal
tough
one. But, you know,
because
she's all right.
Yeah, but she was put night sleep. When you get put to sleep, like, because you know some people that get knocked out and they're stiff, but their eyes are open, they're not completely aware of what's going on, but then they just come to their senses.
Yeah.
But she was definitely sleeping.
Absolutely. You know, she controlled her. There was a knockout in the second round, halfway through.
Yeah.
And
But it was a
think-
one-sided
I
fight.
think Shevchenko fought more, you know, reserved, actually, because she could have, I think, maybe got her at any time. Her striking was far better. The grappling she controlled. She's too big, too strong, too skilled for anybody at that
There's
weight.
nobody in this weight class right now because even the former champ Nico Montana is now a bantamweight.
Yeah.
So this weight class is completely depleted. You know what? To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't find people soon enough if this weight class just gets dissolved.
Right.
It's definitely not. It's not carrying its weight when it comes to the stable of fighters.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this weight class doesn't last very long.
Yeah, and that's a shame because, you know, Shevchenko has beaten everybody but Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
But she's given her the best fight out of anybody, too.
Absolutely, 100%. So, final fight we have Henry Cejudo versus Marlon Morales, and this fight was super impressive by way of Henry Cejudo. We get a second round or
Third
round TKO.
Almost to the end of the third round.
Yeah, this fight was awesome. It looked as if Marlon Morales had Henry Cejudo's number.
It did, but I feel like he just was gassed out, and it was strange. He had no answer for the clinch one bit.
No.
One bit. There was nothing to do about it. And, you know, it was completely strange. But then, you know, Henry started landing knees up the middle, a couple uppercuts, and that's all it took. It was. I think he was. I absolutely believe Moraes was gassed out.
Yeah, because he put in a lot of work in the beginning of the
And
fight.
was
Like
throwing
he was
so hard.
Yeah, he looked like he was trying to get that early stoppage, and I think that I think
I
he gassed
think
himself
Henry
out.
Cejudo's probably still not walking good on Wednesday. You know, after that his calf was beat up, that inside of that leg.
Hamburger meat.
But I don't know how he stuck with it. He found a way. That's why he. This is what I meant by technique of the week.
Yeah.
Switching your style
Yeah.
and figuring out and what you got to do, because it looked like Moraes was just going to continue to pound on him.
If you watched the beginning of this fight, there was no doubt in your mind that Morales was going to run through Cejudo.
There was an argument for the first round for 10-7.
Yeah.
You know.
100%. 10-7.
It was a bad round
Yeah.
for Cejudo, but he stayed with it.
Cejudo put on what I like to call a superhero performance.
Absolutely.
Where the villain just dominates the crap out of the superhero, and then the sun shines bright on him, and he finds the way to win. And Henry Cejudo found the way to win.
Double weight champion.
Yeah, that and Olympic champion.
Yeah.
He's the first person to hold gold in the Olympics and 2 weight classes in MMA. Super impressive.
Absolutely. I think it's making him into a bit of a crazy person.
Yes. Oh, I think his head is superbly gassed up.
Yeah.
He's not a humble winner.
No, he's not.
Not a humble winner.
He's clearly calling himself the best. A little strange with his post-fight call-outs. Guys that, haven't been winning fights. He wants to call himself the legend killer. Take on the likes of Dominic Cruz or Uriah Faber. I don't see what
that was very weird.
what that gets you.
Dominic Cruz, I can almost understand because he only ever lost to one person, Cody Garbrandt, and that's because I loved that fight because Cody Garbrandt cracked the code that was Dominic Cruz. And if you watch that fight, anybody who is a high level, not anybody, but anybody at a high level might be able to beat Dominic Cruz if they follow the Cody Garbrandt system.
Absolutely, but I think, you know, Cejudo was also talking about possibly moving up to featherweight. I don't see how he could.
I do not believe he has a snowball's chance in hell
I
at
don't think
beating
he
Max
can
Holloway.
compete with guys that size.
No. And Max Holloway's punching power and his ability to take damage, his endurance and his chin strength that's not going to happen to what happened to Marlon is not going to happen to Holloway.
No, definitely not. Especially the lasting power. I think Moraes still way up in the division. He's still that guy to beat. I think, you know, Aljamain. Yeah, fight with Pelter Young will be great, but I would like to see a rematch here with Marlon, I think.
Exactly. See, what I think is the winner.
Aljamain's last terrible loss was against him.
And and he did get caught, you know. I always think a fighter who gets caught, you know, you're a professional, so you should do everything not to get caught. But when you get caught, I think Conor McGregor said it best, like there's a difference between getting beat and getting caught. Both are losses, but there's a little bit of a difference. Yeah. So I agree with you. I think Aljamain and Peter Yan fight, and the winner of that on to Morales, winner of that belt against Cejudo.
Because you know, they both made mistakes. Like Marlon made the mistake of not being in good enough shape to fight the likes of Cejudo, and Aljamain made a mistake in getting kicked by Marlon. So I'd like to see a redemption fight, you know, between both guys. I think the bantamweight is heating up. Yeah, big time.
And there's still so much talent in that division.
I think Cejudo should try to defend both titles. 125 and 135.
That would be, for a guy like him who struggles cutting weight, that would be pretty impressive. If he can cut down to defend that title, that would make me even more impressed with Cejudo.
Stay in shape at the bantamweight, and then when you have to defend, you know, your flyweight, then cut your weight down to 125.
I would love to see it.
I'd love to see him do it, you know. I'd love to see him humble himself a little bit so he stays on top, because he could be the best thing in combat sports right now.
It is very possible. So let's look out for the future of Henry Cejudo and the bantamweight division. We'll see where that goes. With that being said, we're about almost out of time, so I would like to remind you all to check out our YouTube channel, Gym Bag Entertainment. We have all the show. We have two of our 3 shows. Tail of the Tape that you're watching right now, and the End Zone. Soon to come, the Flex that I've been doing for over a year. That's coming to YouTube towards the end of July. The big news is that our website, Gym Bag Entertainment, is almost complete. I kept that for the end. It's almost complete. We're looking at either rolling it out this weekend or the following. So definitely watch out for that. We'll give you more news on it when it comes.
Quick little notification before we go. If you're hard up for some martial arts this week, you could check out the Bellator event. Rory McDonald versus Naaman Gracie. And Chael Sonnen versus Lyoto Machida.
Nice.
That's streaming on DAZN app. Or you can check out the One Championship's got a good event going on Friday, and that's on the One Championship app.
Awesome. So definitely check out all combat sports. It's always fun to watch fighters beat the crap out of each other. But until that happens, and until we see you next week, have a great night.
Peace.